Deus Ex is one of my favorite game franchises out there. When the original Deus Ex released, it was very revolutionary at the time. I won't get to how it did that because I have a very crappy review of it if you want to check it out. But since the first game, Deus Ex as a franchise is still very niche compared to some other titles like Half-Life, Halo, Call of Duty, etc. I mean, the best reference you're going to get out of this franchise during a general gaming discussion online would be some cheesy one-liners from the original Deus Ex.
What a shame.
And let's not forget, the terrible Deus Ex Invisible War sequel in 2003 did not fare well for the franchise at all. Enter Deus Ex Human Revolution, released in 2011, made by a new team and a new set of people with a strong desire to represent what Deus Ex brought back in the 2000s. And wow, will you look at that? When you put heart and soul into a game, people are happy. Deus Ex Human Revolution was set as a prequel to the original Deus Ex. It introduced a brand new protagonist who was not a denton. You play as Adam Jensen, who is the lead security at Seraph Industries, an augmentation company that was leading the world into a renaissance for augmentation. Unlike JC Denton though, Jensen looked like he had nuance to him. He looked like he had a past, he had a life other than security, and the story as a whole felt more modernized. This makes sense because by the 2010s, the standards for storytelling had become more meticulous. I mean, in 2011, you could not have a comical character who was just hyperbolic. They needed to be relatable to the average Joe playing this game. And when Eidos Montreal made Human Revolution, they understood this. Adam Jensen was given a love interest, fellow co-workers who were like family, and Pritchard.
And Jensen, don't get yourself killed, okay?
Oh, Francis. I didn't know you cared.
This is how the game hooks a newcomer into the game. It starts with a personal story and then expands into world-threatening conspiracies that you see and act through the eyes of Adam Jensen. Sure, the game never goes as hard on with conspiracy and commentary as the original Deus Ex, but it makes commentary on a different side. You see, many people say that this game does not match the original, but I would argue that instead of one being completely inferior to the other, they both are different sides of the same coin. Allow me to elaborate. The original Deus Ex commented on social hierarchy, social power holders, and leverages. Things like the Grey Death, UNATCO, the Illuminati, NSS, Area 51, aliens are all global, worldwide stuff. I mean, if any one of these things happened in real life, it would be big news. But Human Revolution, instead of trying to compete and outdo what the original did to the highest level, it decided to focus on the common society. Much of the things you do in the game are really small scale and way more grounded. Things like conflict between a triad and a corporation, helping a mother find solace in her daughter's death, finding out your childhood, dealings with local gangs, how the common are affected by the decision of those who hold social power, etc. are all small scale things that you have heard a million times already. None of it is even gonna break into the person sitting right in the next bathroom stall. Yeah, I see you. This game shows how the powers that Deus Ex mentions affects these small-scale sections of society and its social ramifications. Why sure, you might get global towards the end. Most of the main missions you end up doing are for the other common people like prostitutes and Tracer Tong, and trying to resolve their plight rather than fighting for a cause. They both focus on different sections of a society similar to ours. This is why, with the multiple runs of both games that I've done, I believe that you should play each of them in order to get the picture of Deus Ex franchise as a whole. Okay, let's be honest here. The gameplay systems and mechanics are just technically and mechanically superior here. That's just facts. I mean, it's not much of a competition when the original Deus Ex did not even have consistent mechanics. But is it really indicative of a better system in practice? In Human Revolution, you know what an enemy will do when you throw a bomb or shoot its head. You know that Adam will never miss a single shot at what you aim. But really, does this mean more fun than the original? The original game emphasized freedom more than ever. Take an instance of you throwing gas bombs in each game. In Human Revolution, You will know exactly what would happen if you throw in a gas bomb while you are in stealth. Enemies who are in the bomb's proximity will get caught in it while the others will go around it and ruin your perfect stealth run. But in Deus Ex, if you throw a gas bomb, the enemies around are going to run into it instead of avoiding it. While sure, this might sound realistically and mechanically dumb, it does not limit the freedom of the player to try anything they want. It's that sandbox-like gameplay that made the original Deus Ex so good. So, what I mean to say by all that is that gameplay-wise too, Human Revolution can't be compared to the original. Human Revolution decides to focus on tighter gameplay mechanics with a rigid structure. It encourages and sides with different choices with different playstyles. You go stealth route, no more shotguns for you. You choose combat route, no more extra skill points for you. It goes exactly against freedom of player choice that the original emphasized so much and outright tells you to make your gains and loss. Personally, I like both of them equally. Shocker, I know. While I do like watching enemies walk into gas clouds continuously or killing them by dropping crates on their heads, I also like the tight and broad structure Human Revolution has. I like watching Adam take down enemies in such cool ways. I like having to sneak around and intricately plant bombs in enemies' paths and watch them blow up. It is also a great satisfaction. But this does not mean Human Revolution does not come with its own set of flaws. Human Revolution sides with people who take stealth route by rewarding them for ghosting sequences. So it would be of no surprise if the boss fights would be a pain. There are 4 boss fights in this game and all of them are average generally. They might not be a cake in the walk, but they're not that hard. But if you decide to do a ghost run that is only stealth weapons and nothing that could compromise your cover, you're going to be f***ed here. All of them are bullet sponges really, so you're going to need a lot of firepower. But since you're in a non-lethal run, you cannot take these guys down. Literally, this was the game's major criticism when the game first released. So what Eidos Montreal did was release Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, which included a DLC natively plus modifications to the boss fights. And by modifications, literally environmental things with which you can cheese the boss fights. The hubs in this game are my favorite. Sure, Mankind Divided has the best looking ones, but the ones here are more preferable personally. Detroit and Hengsha are very well made and detailed. Walking along the streets of Detroit takes me straight back to downtown NYC in Deus Ex 1. There are apartments you can ransack, basketball court to play basketball, junkies to hang out with, etc. But if you were not convinced about the hubs, look no further than Hengsha. Hengsha is the best hub in a Deus Ex game so far. What makes me say so is the verticality of it. I love running around the rooftops of Hengsha while having the sprinting and jumping augments. It made me feel more than human. Sneaking around here and there, taking pot shots at enemies, or running away from enemies by jumping onto scaffolding. There has been nothing like this so far in a Deus Ex game. The visuals and details are memorable. Like you could show me a part of Hengsha and I could tell you a mission that happened there or some detail of that place. At the end of the day though, this is a subjective topic. I am someone who likes to travel all over the world thing they have going here. And personally, I feel that they have executed it very well here. Okay, you know this is a Deus Ex game, and it could not be a Deus Ex game without its share of performance issues. Let's get this straight. The version that I played is the director's cut, as it is the only one available right now. So I don't know how the original Human Revolution ran. But what I do know is that the director's cut was based on a pre-release Wii U port version. So there were frequent stutters for me. Not only that, but on a high-end PC, if you don't cap the frame rate, this thing runs in the low 20s and drops as far as the 10s. It was so weird, and I ended up capping my frame rate at 120 FPS and getting 80 FPS with occasional drops into the 60s. As a result of this issue, This game is a much better experience in a low-end PC than a high-end due to how inconsistent the performance can be. The frame drops are higher, so the higher your frame rate, the better you're going to notice this. How ironic. At the end of the day, Deus Ex Human Revolution is another excellent Deus Ex game that managed to revolutionize the Deus Ex franchise. It catered to the old fans while modernizing just enough to bring in new fans. I mean, I would go as far to say that Human Revolution is the reason many people even know about the original one, as even my first introduction to the series was this very game. Why sure, we may have lost many things from the original through this modernization. It is fair to say most of that happened because the standards and expectations of gamers had broadened and raised by the time of Human Revolution. If it was not for Human Revolution, I don't think we would even have the possibility for another Deus Ex game by now.